welcome. Thank you all so much for being here. This is our big flagship communicator event that we look forward to every year. It's an opportunity to bring you all together to form some community around the content, and we have a lot of really great content for you tonight. We're going to carry that on. We have a very special guest, somebody who doesn't usually come out into the spotlight, but you're probably very familiar with his work and definitely familiar with the company that he works for. Please join me in welcoming Rob Shilkin. He's the Vice President of Global Communications and Public Affairs at Google. Hi. Hi, how are you?
Really well.
I mentioned you don't usually do this, but the scheduling stars aligned. You happen to be in New York, so we're really happy to have you here.
Well, I'm in town for one of the most important and influential conferences and news publications. Sundar's been at DealBook this week, and I've also been here for Axios, which is a really wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, it all aligns. And I guess we should start on that, right? Is thinking through your CEO. He was on the stage at DealBook, and I'm actually going to go ahead and just let's address the legal elephant in the room, I guess. And I'm going to ask you the same question that Andrew Ross Sorkin asked your boss, which is how much of your time is spent on this antitrust lawsuit?
So you want me to give the answer that he should have given? Is that what you're asking?
He pivoted quite nicely, though.
I'm going to do exactly the same. Do you really think? Let me tell you how I think about it. There's a blessing and a curse of working at Google. I've been here for 18 years now. It's truly the most scrutinized, observed, written about company, and it does the most amazing and fascinating things. I asked our AI-powered measurement system, which we can talk about later, how many issues we're facing, and we're dealing with 2,000 issues a year that our communications team is handling. That's 6 or 7 issues come in a day that we're managing. Now that is obviously a bit of a curse for the team, which has to manage it and handle it because they're extremely busy and you're not always in control of the news agenda. But there's also a blessing to being such a relevant and scrutinized company, and in that you get to be involved in the most incredible societal moments. You get to launch and talk about products that reach billions of people. And the upside of that is that there's an endless series of things that you can and should be talking about and communicating about. So that's really what the team's focus has been on. Just this week, our DeepMind team launched an entirely new, revolutionary weather forecasting system. I mean, it's an unbelievable advance, and that's just Tuesday, and then Wednesday we're on to something else. And it's extraordinary, and that's what really the team and what I'm trying to keep us focused on, not on the legal stuff. We don't have any great unique claim to this regulatory scrutiny. Every tech company literally every big tech company in America is facing their own lawsuit. But our focus is on trying to tell our positive story. And
how do you balance that? How do you balance the offense versus the defense?
The defense is we've been very deliberate and focused on being, and this goes for all of our regulatory issues. I don't want to say I'm talking about this specific case. Focus on staying very calm. It's a very long process. It's going to take a very long time. Focus on a nimble, small tiger team that works on this particular issue, so we don't let everyone get consumed by it. And we're trying to be extremely crisp, extremely punchy in the way that we communicate, and it's going directly in the way we issue statements, in the way we respond fast. Really trying to be as fast, crisp, direct, to use data, analogy as much as possible.
You mentioned punchy, you mentioned go direct. Talk to me about how your team is thinking about this new media landscape, audience fragmentation. I imagine if you're rolling out new products regularly, you can't rely on traditional media to always cover that. Have you ramped up your owned media? What is the state of your team as you navigate shrinking newsrooms, playing offense and defense, while also trying to reach audiences who are hard to find and even harder to engage?
I mean, I think every sizable comms team is investing significantly in going direct. We've got, I think we've got over 100 million. If you add up all the different social channels that we have 100 million people following us on social media. So we're obviously very invested in that. We've got a rapid response handle that we use on X and other channels that we use to push out in the moment fact checks. We didn't invent that. Lots of teams do that, but we've got a handle that works really well and is really quick. And then we have a team that works very closely with creators. We're fortunate because we own YouTube, and YouTube is where a lot of the creators are, and so our YouTube communications team naturally has really good relationships with creators and they do a ton of interesting work with them. But I would say I feel like some of the discussion, I was pleased to see Jim's comments the other day. Some of the discussion is a little bit either or, media or going direct. And they're completely symbiotic, completely interrelated. How many news stories have you seen where the story is X things happens, people commented on social media about it, and that's the story.
Right.
And vice versa, how many times on social media do you see people sharing a link and commenting on it? And so they're totally interrelated, and you have to be completely building relationships on both sides.
You've told me previously that your comms team is going through what you called like the reimagined era. Tell us what you mean by that, and then tell us what you think your team will look like 5 years from now and how it differs.
We talk about this as a reimagined era. We've kind of been through the arc that every company has gone through of like plucky startup. Then you start getting attention from competitors and regulators, and you're in a fighting mode. Then you go through, over the last few years, we went through a massive growth period. And so the era that we're in now, we're not growing at the same rate. We're a bit more grown up and mature, but we're using it as an opportunity to completely rethink how we do everything. Nothing is off the table. So that encompasses a whole range of different initiatives that we have around how we communicate, trying to get a ton more punchy and quick and fast, who we communicate to, investing in creator relationships, going direct, building new tools with AI and other systems that are completely reorienting and improving the way we work and making us a whole lot smarter. So that's the opportunity that we have as a team when we're not growing dramatically, is to completely rethink what we do things better, try new things. And a big part of that is a license for the team to experiment and to fail. So we often share stories about things that didn't go well. Spoiler alert, there's quite a lot of them. But that's okay. It's important that people feel comfortable to try things and fail, and there's been some incredibly exciting initiatives and comms campaigns around search, around our work with YouTube. I love seeing Katie. We've got a great partnership with them through Sunday Ticket, so we do some amazing work with creators in the NFL, some of our growing cloud business. So there's some really exciting work.
Well, so talking about innovation and looking ahead and product rollouts, obviously AI is very top of mind for you all. You're undoubtedly like the place for search, and AI could likely solidify that in some way. Talk to us about how you're communicating around your AI tools. We know there was the Bard rollout. What lessons did you learn from that you're now incorporating?
Well, we communicate prolifically about our AI tools. I would say that's probably the word. There is so much happening, so many different products that are being infused with AI. So every team in our communications team is working on this. Everyone has had to completely get trained up, learn, understand this new technology and how they can communicate about it. So we're definitely being a lot more social first. We have a big, developers are an important audience for this. A lot of them live on X and social media. And a lot of it is, we're trying to do a lot more just educating of people about what the tools are, what do we have. It's an entirely new space for everyone. So we also have a lot of hand-holding where we give like bespoke experiences for people.
You mentioned X a few times now. Are you all also experimenting with Blue Sky? Are you on TikTok? Are you everywhere? Or are you still slowly making your way across the social media platforms?
I think we're pretty much everywhere. Wherever there's a conversation, we try and inject ourselves. I mean, you mentioned the the Bard issue. A lot of that originated on social media. That's where we spotted it. That's where the conversation happened. But yes, we're fairly, I would say, promiscuous across the various social networks.
How is your team incorporating AI? And what grade would you give them if you had to rate their adoption? A, B, C+?
I would give us a solid B+, trending to an A. We're in a lucky position in that we have so many of the tools in-house, and we're communicating about the tools. And so we have to learn about them, we have to understand them, we have to use them as part of our day-to-day work. That does give us an advantage in working out what possible use cases there could be.
What are some of those?
Well, some of the more interesting ones. The one tool, if I could say, that is the most incredible that our team absolutely loves using is a tool called Notebook LM, which I'm sure many people have seen the podcasts and audio overviews. It's super fun way of using it and providing a quick audio summary internally or externally. But deeper than that, it's an incredible tool for uploading source material. You can put all of your communications materials, all of your facts, all of your blogs, and then you can quiz it and ask it basically anything. You can predict what questions Eleanor was going to ask on stage.
Did you do that?
I did not do that. I did not. But you can get summaries, you can get suggested social media copy. It's all just, the one thing I would say about this, as we all, as an industry, experiment with it, if it's done in a kind of a cold corporate enterprise tech way, as a ruthless efficiency driver for this industry, it's just not going to work.
It needs punchy
and fun. It's a lot of fun to experiment with. It's way more than just a chatbot where you can get suggestions for how to write things. You can do incredible. You can create incredible creative things that can improve work. Someone has created an agent that can. You put all of an executive's internal communications into that system, and then you can ask it to create a sort of a summary of what sorts of reactions the executive would have to this email that you're drafting. What sorts of changes would they like? You can do all those sorts of things.
Did you test that out ahead of the corporate activism comments that we saw? I want to pivot towards internal comms a little bit. You all kind of...
That's a very hard pivot, that question.
Well, I tried my best.
I wouldn't even call that a pivot.
That's like
I'm going to move into a whole different lane here, but that's okay.
Well, it's important. It's important to talk about because it's something that communicators are all dealing with, is how to navigate this incoming administration, how to navigate employee activism, how to decide when to respond to policy issues, geopolitical issues. So give us smart brevity, very punchy. How do you all think about it? What are some tips you might have for communicators?
Well, I should actually say that I will give you a little bit of a plug. We do use the smart brevity system, and we have trained the team on that. The internal comms team in particular, I think, loves it and finds it useful. People don't really...
I feel like you're dodging the question.
No, I'm going to get to... I'm re-pivoting. We have... you only need to read the news to know that we have a vocal, passionate workplace of amazing employees, and I think Sundar said this on stage yesterday. It is a strength. He's consistently said this, and we all believe it. It is a strength. That level of candor is immensely valuable, especially with all the smart folks that we have at our company. So let's start from that perspective, that it's a strength. There have obviously been some high-profile things that people have read about in the media over recent years. I don't think we're alone in going through that. I think the whole country has gone through that. Interestingly, it's been more of an American phenomenon than a global phenomenon. That's an interesting point, but it's definitely been something that everyone in the industry has gone through. I will say our internal comms team has become very good through all of that. It's an extremely strong team, and they have become very good at bringing employees along, keeping employees up to date, myth-busting internally, and communicating in a way that employees really respond well to. We send out a daily email to the entire company. It gets 95% plus positive response.
So do you find that you're communicating more internally than maybe you were in years past?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's a trend that probably every company has probably seen. Communicating more, but it can't be just for the sake of communicating or sending platitudes out. It needs to be backed up by authenticity and the willingness to take questions. We actually created a new tool for the company, which does use AI to help summarize questions, to group questions together, for the purpose that we can get to more topics. It used to be that people would vote on questions and there'd be like 5 or 6 questions on a similar topic. Now we can get to it a ton more and answer more questions, and that's actually resulted in so many more employees asking questions, so many more employees engaging. It's been a real success.
That's great. We're over time, but you're very good at this. You should do more of these, by the way. I do want to end on one fun thing. That's what we always do here at Axios. So my one fun thing for you is, and I can't imagine you've gotten this question before, what's the last thing you Googled?
I think it was probably directions to this place, but I actually did use it today about the earthquake in California, just to see that my house was still standing, which it is. Yes. But I use it all the time, and I love it. It's so helpful.
Yeah.
It's a really good product. You should all use it. But there are lots of options if you need to, if you want to go find somewhere else.
Very good. All right, Rob Shilkin, everyone. Thank you so much.